Well, hello members and supporters. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Rabbitohs Insider. Today we'll take a look at our loss to the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. We'll have a look at Ello's Play of the Week, brought to you by Zoom Video Communications. We will preview our big clash against the New Zealand Warriors in round 5 up at Sunshine Coast Stadium. We'll have a look at the KO keys to that match. We'll also preview our Pathways games this week, and we will see our feature on young halfback Connor Tracey. Plenty coming up. As we do each week, we review our previous game, and we're here with our football manager, Mark Ellison. Not the result we were looking for at Brookvale Oval last week.
No, it wasn't, Jez. We wanted to keep our undefeated record alive, but as we know, it's a tough competition, the NRL. And we didn't play well enough to win ourselves. I mean, the Sea Eagles stuck to their game plan and stuck to the task, even with a few injuries in that. But we got close, but weren't close enough.
Wayne was pretty straightforward with his comments after the game. It was a result that we deserved for the effort that was put in, and our attitudes were a little bit off. What are they going to do this week to correct that ahead of the Warriors?
Oh, I think they'll just go back to training as normal, Jez. I mean, the attitude side of the game is hard to teach. It's just something that you've got to turn up with. The boys were disappointed after the game, which is good. We thought they would be. They've had a good start to the season. If you'd asked at this stage to have won 3 out of 4, you'd be happy with it. But, you know, with a little bit more enthusiasm, I think, at certain times of the game, and particularly just finish off a few try-scoring opportunities early in the game, I think it could have changed the result.
We did score a couple of good tries, a bit of what you call eyes-up football. We're going to review one of those in Ello's Play of the Week, so let's head over to the Zoom room. Well, it's time for Ello's Play of the Week, as it is every week, brought to you by Zoom Video Communications. Here in the Zoom room, Ello, what are we looking at this week?
Look at the first try of the game for the Rabbitohs. It's the Sam Burgess try on the right-hand side. Here we see Cookie at dummy half. Plays ball, throws a long ball to Cody. Cody can't go anywhere on the left. He skips back across the field, beats a few defenders. Boys have held their shape, and it's quite an easy try for Sam in the end. We can just go back and watch the replay again. We can just hold it there. We can see Cody gets the ball, looking to use Sutto and Alex Johnson maybe out the back on the left-hand side of the field. The Manly defence, you know, on the back of Cherry Evans, has done a good job in getting up so quickly and stopping the movement. However, Cody feels it that back on the inside the defence hasn't come up. So it gives him the opportunity to skip back across the field. Here's the key one. He gets outside of Joel Thompson, hits Renault, and just puts their left side defence in disarray. We had the numbers out there. Tafua needed to come in and follow Parker, but Sam's thrown the dummy, held him out, but Sam also had Gags and Corey Allen on his outside.
So initially you're explaining there is we went left, Manly's defence came up, but the inside defence didn't come up. Is that because we had decoy runners going through that made them sit back on their heels?
Yeah, the decoys runners did hold them back initially, but they thought we were going to play to the left. The fact that Cody changed the angle of attack and got back right across the field to the other team, and if you look at LG there, LG's about 2-3 metres off his line, whereas on the other side of the park, they're up 10 metres. So that causes problems out here for Parker. Nice catch and pass from Renault. Quite an easy try in the end for Sam.
So out on the field, Cody's made that decision to change the angle of the attack. Is it up to Renault there to be able to see what he's doing, then set his outside man up to say, ball's coming, boys, we can score here?
The key here was that Renault, Sam and Gags just held their depth. You can see them in that shot there. They didn't think they were getting the ball, but they stayed there in position. Our middlemen got out of the road and allowed Cody to get back across the field.
You can see Renault put his hand up, call for it there, and then Sam had a bit of a open passage to score.
Exactly, and that was just playing footy, and we call it eyes-up football. And Cody's one of the masters in the NRL on that and did a great job there. Nice catch and pass from Renault, and Sam finished the job off well.
Another great play of the week, Ello, brought to you by Zoom Video Communications.
Yeah, a nice try.
Ello, another great try there for Ello's play of the week, but that was all last week. It's now time to take a look at this week's game. The Warriors up at the Sunshine Coast Stadium, the first time an NRL game has been played up there.
It'll be exciting to take the game up there. Jez, as you say, a home game for us, but I'm sure some of our members, Queensland members and that, will get the chance to come and see the Rabbitohs live, which is always a good thing. We're looking forward to the opportunity to pick up from where we left off last week. We need to improve, but it's all about us. It's not about what the Warriors are going to do. We've just got to look at our own backyard and make sure we've got that going how we need to.
You mentioned about the crowd there. A lot of our members from Sydney travelling up to the Sunshine Coast for this game. What sort of style of footy are they going to see out of the Rabbitohs this week?
I'm sure they'll see a committed Rabbitohs side, Jez. I mean, there are a few areas of the game that we've alluded to earlier that we need to improve. The boys have worked hard on it early in the week, and they've got a couple more sessions yet. But you'll see the Rabbitohs at their best.
When we have a look at the Warriors team sheet, a familiar name on the extended bench, Isaac Luke, still loved by many of the Rabbitohs members and supporters. It'd be good to see Bully up there on the weekend.
Yeah, if he gets a start, Jez. I mean, we all love him here at the Rabbitohs. He put a lot into the club while he was here. And who can forget his game against us in round one last year over in Perth? He tore us apart. So if he does play, we've got to keep our eye on him for sure.
Well, he's one person we've got to keep an eye on, but let's have a look at the KO keys to the match for some other key matchups. As we said, Ello, time to take a look at our KO keys to the match. Who have we got first?
I've got a couple of the young wingers from both sides, respectively, Campbell Graham and versus David Fusitu'a. Campbell's had a great start to the season. He's scored, I think, 4 or 5 tries now. He's running some great leaders from the back end of the field and giving great impact to our own team. Fusitu'a, on the same note for them, gives them a great impact from the back end of their field. He's a noted try scorer. He was a top try scorer in the league last year, I think. So he'll be one to watch for them. Then we go to the forwards. They were the young guns of both teams, and now we go to the more senior members of the teams, like great matchup between Sam Burgess and Tahu Harris. Both have represented their countries and both have had strong starts to the season for their respective clubs. Sam being moved out to that right edge has been really good for us. He's scored 4 tries there already this season. And his post-contact meters are the big thing in his game that's really improved. When we get that post-contact meters, it means he can get to the ground, play the ball quickly, and he can play off the back of it. So that's why he's been really important to us. Tahu Harris, he's a big player too for the Warriors. Not as many post-contact meters as Sam, but his experience and his defence and his strong running of the ball could cause us problem if we're not on our game out there.
Well, that's a great insight. They are great KO keys to the match. Now we've got to talk about our pathways, and we've got semi-finals this week in the Harold Matthews Cup.
Thanks for that, Jez, and welcome to a new look Pathways wrap-up. We're going to check out all the results from last weekend as well as preview this week's matches. As Jeremy mentioned, the Harold Matthews under-16 side are finals bound after finishing second on the ladder. They suffered their first defeat of the season in the final round of the regular competition, going down 28-24 against the third place Sea Eagles. It was a heartbreaking loss for the young Rabbitohs, who were on track to claim the minor premiership after hooker Ratu Vesakula put the side in front with 2 minutes to spare, only for their opponents to strike in the final minute of the match to claim victory. The side will now get the perfect chance to avenge their loss when they head to Brookvale Oval to face the Sea Eagles once again in the first week of the finals this Saturday at 10 a.m. It was a tough day out for our SG Bull side, who in their final match of the season went down to the ladder-leading Sea Eagles 66-10. After claiming back-to-back victories, the Cardinal and Myrtle were outgunned by the Silvertails, with Logan Aldridge and Celesi Malu scoring tries either side of the break, but overall their opponents were just too good on the day. Having drawn both their opening matches, the Jersey Flex side earned their first win of the season against Manly in a 50-10 thumping. Kai Rodwell, Josh Cook, Talis Angianga and Nick Mugios all bagged doubles, while halfback and captain Blake Taff put up a 14-point haul in the 40-point victory. Brock Schaefer caught up with head coach Ben Rogers after the result.
Thanks, Dre. We're here with Ben Rogers, the head coach of our Jersey Flag side, the victorious, undefeated Jersey Flag side. Benny, it was a pretty good win on the weekend versus Manly.
Yeah, it was a tough contest. travelling out to Blacktown playing after the Hudson ball game. Very happy with the effort from the guys. I've had a great effort throughout the pre-season in the last few weeks. But a big test this week when we've got to fly over to New Zealand and play the Warriors in Auckland.
Our members of senior side's undefeated. They saw the scoreline on the weekend. It was the shining light over the last weekend. Who are some of the players our members should be looking out for? Guys who might develop into future NRL players?
On the weekend, the highlight, Kyrell Borg, Josh Cook had a really good game. Both our halves, and Blake Taff and Mark Zarini, were good. And then sort of the unsung heroes of Matty French and Milo Chanfoon in the back row had a really good game and probably epitomised what our team's all about. Just that hard work and effort first and dive in. And not going to say there's no superstars because they're all really good kids and they're great players, but it was a good team effort and that's why we've got that sort of result.
It was a tough loss for the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership side, who went down 16-12 against the Cabramatta 2 Blues at Mascot Oval. The 2 Blues scored 2 quick tries in the early stages of the match, and although Monica Moale scored a double, it just wasn't enough for the side, who now have 2 weeks off and will take on the North Sydney Bears at Mascot Oval later this month. After 3 straight victories, the Canterbury Cup side was upset by the Blacktown Workers Seagulls in a 32-12 defeat at Lottoland last Saturday. The side scored 2 consolation tries to Tracey and Dylan O'Connor at the end of the match, but it was all too late as they went down 32-12. And that's it for this week's Pathways wrap-up. Back to you, Jez.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the insight into our Pathways teams this week, and thank you as always to Mark Ellison, our football manager, for your insights into the NRL fixture.
Pleasure, Jez.
Now, members and supporters, it's time to get to know a little bit better one of our halfbacks, Connor Tracey.
You just know instantly that you've done it because I've done it 2 times before, so you just feel this popping, disgusting feeling, and all the hard work you've done just comes down just with one movement. Sometimes I thought I'd never play again because I sort of thought I'd keep doing it. You don't want to let the people down that sort of around you all the time, so I didn't tell my parents or Hannah back till the afternoon. I went to the movies by myself. It was sort of weird. I didn't want to tell anyone and I had to wait around for an MRI. Grew up playing footy around the Shire. I played for De La Salle and started playing with the Sharks rep teams. I played SG Bourne, Harold Matts, and so I did my first ACL injury when I was in under 20s. So I played first 4 games that season and just jumping to catch a ball, and yeah, my knee just buckled and had an 8-month rehab, and then was training with the Sharks full time in the pre-season. I went to jump again and same thing happened, pretty much exactly the same thing, buckled again. And so that sort of year I was off contract, and that's when Richo and the Sharks were both having combos with me, and I thought I'd come to South just with the squad they had and the sort of culture and history around Rabbitohs. I thought they had a real good team and looked like they had a real close brotherhood, and sort of players they had coming through. I thought it'd be a good club to come to, and it came to South, and I was in the middle of my second rehab, and I was sort of doing some training with the physio, trying to get my knee right. Went to step off it and then did it again for the 3rd time. So obviously done it 3 times, in training 2 times, so it was devastating, and had to get bone marrow to fill the holes because I'd had 2 previous surgeries. So had to have someone's donated bone put into my knee and had to wait 3 months for that to heal. So for 3 months I couldn't really do anything. I had no ACL in my knee, so I was sort of waiting around, just doing nothing. And then eventually had the ACL surgery, and it was probably more evasive surgery than my last 2, so it took a lot longer to recover from. Also I was in a brace for a while, but we took our time. It was probably about 15 months till I played again after that one. So I really had a long time to get it right, and sometimes I thought I'd never play again because I sort of thought I'd keep doing it, but I can't thank the Rabbitohs staff enough, Jared Wade, Luke, Eddie, all the physios and all the players as well, how supportive they were, so they made it real easy to sort of come back from it.
CT's attitude to training second to none at this club. He came to us with previous long-term injuries, and then he picked up one in his first year here, so we've really seen that whole process from him, from the early stage of dealing with that injury into early stage rehab, which requires a lot of attention and focus, all the way through his running when he's returning to his rehab, and his willingness and ability to push himself to the wall every time that he trains, basically. So it sort of comes in 2 parts with Connor. Once he's on the field, he pushes himself to the wall, and that's why he's sort of built himself back up into a really good player through this rehab process.
On the outside, looked like he was handling it really well. I'm sure he had some dark times when he was on his own and the like, but he had a lot of good support. He had a lot of good support from both the Sharks and the Rabbitohs. And I suppose one thing that I did admire when he was going through it is he just got on with things, you know, didn't really look at it as a setback. It was just, okay, this has happened, what are we going to do next? And just got on with it, business as usual. So that was pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah, he never spoke about it, just on the move, what's next, kind of just, yeah, looking for things to do to keep him occupied. He would become an extremist in like a random hobby. So he would, you know, whether it be droning or fishing, or he'd pick a country and he'd have to go there, or a meal that he'd have to perfect. Like, he would just become an extremist in a hobby, which was, I guess, he was always busy, kind of distracting himself.
When he did his first knee that night, he got onto Gumtree and found a tinny and went out the next day and bought it. And that was when his fishing really
that's right.
took off.
He started
It was the
fishing a lot
first
more.
thing he thought, right, I'm going to buy a boat.
So I hadn't had a boat for a while. I used to have a boat when I was young, about 14, 15. So that night I thought, I'm going to buy a boat. So I went on Gumtree, looked up tinny, found a little tinny. Next day I went and picked it up. And then, yeah, I pretty much became obsessed with fishing. I'd go out every day because I couldn't do much with my knee. I'd sort of train in the morning and then fish like every afternoon, and sort of put my passion from my rugby league into fishing, and sort of got real good at it and started catching big fish. And still something I keep doing, but it's more so to get away from footy now as opposed to fill the void footy, not being able to play left. So it's changed a bit. Hand net skills when your net breaks. Can't believe that. Put the small hooks on for the brim. 2. The other one was like just legal. So let this one go. Come forward with me. That's how you catch a kingy.